Let's go live, y'all. But first, let's listen to Ruga featuring FBG Duck. Go harder. Let's go.
Shout out DG. You gon' fuck around, get smoked, tryna prove a point, nigga. My young niggas, they on go, all I gotta do is point, nigga. My brother say I'm the GOAT, I'm like, you got a point, nigga. Had to let them know I got it, I hate to disappoint niggas. I hold so much in, you wouldn't even tell that I got problems. I just lost my friend, how the hell I'ma tell his mama? She didn't get on the real for me since I became a father. Since I had my little one, that just made me go harder. She really got real, boy, you don't know the feel. When Red Dude on the first, but ain't no money to pay them bills. Ain't no house up on that hill, ain't no money for that wheel. And in order to eat, it was EBT just for us to get a meal. Plenty nights I got down on my knees and prayed. And I know one day we gon' see better days. I miss my homies, I think about them every day. Hey, voices in my head say they gon' hate, they gon' hate. Yeah, they gon' hate, they gon' fake like they fuck with you. Same nigga that never spoke to you gon' say what's up to you. Same nigga that never checked on you gon' try to check up on you. Same nigga that say they down be the same nigga that's gon' fuck on you. Get smoked, tryna prove a point, nigga. My young niggas, they don't go, all I gotta do is point, nigga. My brother say I'm the GOAT, I'm like, you got a point, nigga. Had to let them know I got it, I hate to disappoint niggas. I hold so much in, you wouldn't even tell that I got problems. I just lost my friend, how the hell I'ma tell his mama? She didn't get on the real for me since I became a father. Since I had my little one, that just made me go harder.
I was loading up choppers in my mama's backyard. I was treating niggas like bitches, I ain't have to act hard. I get my money off of rapping, I ain't have to crack hard. But I crack a nigga head if you try to act hard. It's about the money, I don't bother. Used to dream about it, now my diamonds look like water. Couldn't be no dummy, so I had to play it smarter. I had my 3 sons and then I had my daughter. I do this for them, so I gotta win. Pray to God for all my sins, he gave me a second chance. All the pain he put me through, kinda glad he did. Cause this shit made me strong, turned me to a better man.
Fuck around, get smoked, tryna prove a point, nigga. My young niggas, they don't go, all I gotta do is point, nigga. My brother say I'm the GOAT, I'm like, you got a point, nigga. Had to let them know I got it, I hate to disappoint niggas. I hold so much in, you wouldn't even tell that I got problems. I just lost my friend, how the hell I'ma tell his mama? She didn't get on the real for me since I became a father. Since I had my little one, that just made me go harder.
Now, that right there was Ruga Go Harder featuring FBG Duck. What's good, Royal Family? Today, we got some shit to look at. Y'all, let me cue it up and then I will let y'all know what is going on. So, a while ago, yesterday, the fuck I'm talking about a while ago and shit. Yesterday, I told you guys that I wanted to start kind of incorporating a couple of new things on the channel. And then I thought about it, like, this is something that I've already kind of done, but I only did it in one situation. And that one situation was Sinful the P. Now, today, we're going to look at basically it's a sentencing for a predator. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the one thing that the thing that I was going to bring here that I've done before, which I'm still going to do, we going to get into it, y'all. I got so much that I've already recorded and stuff like that. I just got to, get it ready to put out, but will be parole hearings. We're going to start looking at those, okay? And the ones that I found that are up and coming. Oh my God. Okay, period. Now, obviously, these hearings have already happened until I catch up all the way. But I might just do it like this because then I get to, look and, pay attention to each case and do a little research in between. But today we're working with Jonathan Ryan Nichols, and I just am reading off a little bit of notes. His online name was Honey Badger. Now, he was, let me see. So this is his parole revocation hearing, and this happened in San Antonio, Texas. Prior to this charge, though, he was caught in 2018 in a predator sting operation and was arrested for soliciting a minor. Now, this time, the reason why we're here now, and we'll get into a little bit of the other case, is the police had caught him with 5 child porn images that he uploaded to Google, royal family. Now, I wasn't even aware, but I think it's great that Google is paying attention. So he somehow, maybe he had an overflow of images or maybe deliberately meant to send it there, but Google Images was paying attention. Okay, whoever works in that department, thank you, and please continue. Yes. So he uploaded them to his Google Drive and was caught. He lives off of his mom, who is definitely an enabler. And you're going to hear from her in this video that I put together towards the end. She is a professional or expert witness, they said. Yeah. So now his mom has 2 cars, and says that he has a license, but he doesn't drive. And, obviously that's important because prior he was trying to meet up and entice a minor, basically solicit a minor. Okay. So he could meet up with children and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that this is not his first time. But let me get back to my notes. His mom does try to downplay his actions. She speaks about his health concerns, which contain of like sleep apnea, a heart condition. But I'll weigh in a little bit at the time, but I'm gonna give it to you now a little bit. Was he sick like that when he was talking to a minor and holding on to child porn? Where did he get said child porn? That's very important. They did, like I said, they brought his mom up as an expert witness, and she really has nothing to add to the situation. Allegedly he was supposed to get a stint, right? But he couldn't because his weight was such of a problem. Okay. The mom says that he could have coded. Now, all this is important because when you watch this video that I put together for you today, y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? Do apologize. I don't know if I want to continue to add the music all the time, but sometimes it does help, push fair use and stuff like that. But I did bring it down like really a lot once we get into the court date because I wanted you guys to hear what was going on. I did have to enhance audio as, obviously the prosecutor at times was, moving around and doing her little thing or whatever in the fuck, right? So there is somebody that comes up and the prosecutors ask him, has he ever seen a deep fake or does he know about Chat GPT? Now we'll get into Chat GPT in a little bit, at another time or whatever, but it is important. But he was insinuating that images were CGI. Now, I have a problem with that because even if they are CGI, you're attempting to look at child porn, sir, and that is a no-no. So, this case is crazy as hell. Yes, there was I guess other images in there, so maybe he didn't mean to, but I'm glad that he did because like I said, Google Drive or Google Images, whoever is in running that team, child, I might have to go, send them some flowers or something because I didn't even know that they were doing that. But it is very smart, thing for them to do. I can only imagine the information that comes across that could help them in an investigation. But like I said, this situation is Honey Badger, aka what was his first name? Jonathan Ryan Nicholas. So we'll be taking a look at this. There's a short news clip in the beginning, but after today, Royal Family, we'll continue to look at, court stuff. We've looked at trials, interrogations, news stuff, all that. But I do want to incorporate in a lot of these parole hearings because even just the ones that I found as far as sexual abuse, there's so much crazy details in these stories. And then you also get to see Like, did they, what did they do when they were in prison? Did they join programs that could possibly help them turn their life around, or did they just fuck it off? You know what I mean? You also get to see how, in that aspect, the parole board responds in situations like that. Sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't, which makes for great content as well. So that is what we will be doing. I will try to come back tomorrow with, another, that's when we'll really officially start the parole hearings, child. But I wanted to get this one, off of my list, because this dude is fucking sick as hell. The way that his mom was just up there bullshitting and caping for his ass made me sick as hell. And she literally said that she doesn't think that when, let's say, okay, so child porn is produced, right? And then, so each time that it is watched, if you didn't know, the victim is re-victimized. She said, oh no, the victimization basically, I'm paraphrasing, only happens once. Excuse me, ma'am? Like, she was a really big enabler. So I will be going to fuck in on her mammy ass. Okay, period. And we'll be looking at this situation today. So make sure that you hit that like button and, you know what I'm saying, support your girl. Let's go.
Buddha.
Uploading several files of child pornography on his Google account. That is according to jail records. 37-year-old Jonathan Ryan Nicholas was charged with 5 counts of possession of child pornography. An arrest warrant affidavit states that the investigation into Nicholas started in March of 2021. And that's when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's CyberTipline received reports about a Google user uploading multiple files of child porn. The Office of the Attorney General of Texas investigated the reports. Nicholas was eventually identified as the suspected user of the account.
All right, court is calling 2018 CR 3520W, State of Texas versus Jonathan Ryan Nicholas. Now, parties announced for the record for the state.
Denise Garrison from the state of Texas, Your Honor.
Defense.
Alex Shar from Mr. Nicholas.
Now, really quick, I just want to say that this is Judge Boyd, and I love her. She literally does a really good job, and she comes down pretty hard. She is not for the bullshit. But I like the way that she handled this case. And I also included, I like to hone in on the witnesses that are on the stand. We could look at, like in this case, this fat fucker right here and his, enabler ass pedophile as, attorney. I'm not saying that the attorney's a pedophile, but he's enabling pedophiles. Okay, period. That's his job. But in the beautiful judge, Miss Boyd, I believe her name is Angela, but she is a great judge.
And are you...
What's good, Leak You?
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes, sir.
So really quick, before we get started, I just want to let Leak know kind of what we're dealing with today. So this dude right here is Jonathan Ryan Nicholas. His online name is Honey Badger. He was, today we're going to watch a parole revocation that happened in San Antonio, Texas. And we'll be watching the sentencing, obviously revocation sentencing. Police did catch him this time with 5 child porn images that he got popped off when he uploaded them to Google's, services, and people there. Child had spotted it and let the people know that needed to know. But previously in 2018, he was arrested on a predator sting operation into which he was charged with soliciting a minor. Okay. Now they basically had suspended that sentence, gave him no same or similar. I think I had accidentally skipped over that one, but he did upload the images to his Google Drive when he was caught. His mom's going to testify, as well as some other witness, I forgot, who is going to be asked about deep fakes or chat GPT, and they're insinuating that the images were CGI. The mom goes on to complain about his health issues and how she needs him. She needs him, right? But he had a cell phone that was not registered with, the services as far as these predators that, supervise them and stuff like that. And I do believe that the mother had hid it for him, as well as I believe that she's an enabler.
And in the box, I'm gonna need to, excuse me, in the box, you all need to move down on that end if you're gonna confer. All right, Mr. Nicholas, I'm gonna show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and State's motion to supplement pending motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Jonathan Ryan Nicholas who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2018 CR 3520W for the offense of online solicitation of a minor meet with intention for sexual conduct on April 4, 2018 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, State.
Yes, Your Honor. State will be waiving and abandoning the new number ones and proceeding on the remainders. Violating condition number 15A on or about the 6th day of December 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, failed to comply with instructions of his court-ordered sex offender treatment program, and that the defendant failed to progress towards reasonable treatment goals in violation of condition number 15A.
Okay. How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State.
Violated condition number 15I on or about the 6th day of December 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, did then and there fail to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department Sex Offender Program, and that the defendant possessed an unmonitored smartphone in violation of condition number 15I.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Violated condition number 15I on or about the 6th day of December 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, did then and there fail to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department Sex Offender Program, and that the defendant possessed an unmonitored smartphone in violation of condition number 15I.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Violated condition number 15L on or about the 26th day of March 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, did then and there fail to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department Sex Offender Program, and that the defendant used an alias or fictitious name, namely Honey Badger, in violation of condition number 15L.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Violating number 16 on or about the 6th day of December 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, failed to comply with the instructions of his court-ordered sex offender treatment program, and that the defendant failed to progress toward reasonable treatment goals in violation of condition number 16.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Violating condition number 18 on or about the 26th day of March 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nichols, did then and there fail to report an alias Honey Badger to their appropriate law enforcement agency and failed to register said alias with that agency pursuant to Texas Chapter 62 in violation of condition number 16.
How do you plead to that?
True.
Just one moment. Is it a violation of 16 or 18? Because that's listed as condition number 18, and then it states a violation of condition number 16. Yes. Oh, we're off the record. Bashan, do you see what I'm speaking about? Okay. All right, so we're back on the record. State, is there a motion?
On this, Your Honor, yes, the state, the motion is to change number 16 in violation of condition number 18 to the number 18.
All right, is there any objection to that from the defense?
You see where this? This is, oh, I see, 18.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Nicholas, do you understand that in the document, the condition is listed as a violation of condition number 18, And the state is alleging that you violated condition number 18. Do you understand?
Strong.
All right, with regard to that allegation, then how do you plead to violation of condition number 18? True or not true?
True.
All right, state.
On the supplemental dated March 27, 2023, violated condition number 15JA on or about the second day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nicholas, did then and there fail to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department sex offender program, and that the defendant possessed an unauthorized, unmonitored Xperia smartphone with the required internet monitoring service provider remote COM in violation of condition number 15JA.
And that is without the required instead of with the required?
Yes, with the required internet monitoring service, yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, without the required. That's how it reads.
Failed to comply.
Without the required. It should be with the required, Your Honor. I will do a motion to change without to with.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
All right, Mr. Nicholas, do you understand the state's changing of 15JA, changing the word without to with is a substantive change? Do you understand that? Do you understand your counsel has 10 days to prepare to answer for 15JA since the state has made a substantive change? Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to proceed with the violation of 15JA?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, with regards to 15JA, how do you plead, true or not true?
True.
All right, state.
On or about the second day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nicholas, did then and there failed to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department sex offender program, and that the defendant possessed an unauthorized, unmonitored Dell Nova tablet without a required internet monitoring service provider remote COM in violation of condition number 15A. This spoke to probation. It should actually be with the without because it's supposed to have it on it.
Yes, so if you want to start over reading with 15JA, the first one, please.
So it looks like they thought they had a clerical error, but they didn't. In these type of cases, I'm not going to say nothing while the facts is brought out, but when the witnesses come on, y'all.
Yes. Yes. The first on 15JA violated condition number 15JA on or about the second day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nicholas, did then and there fail to comply with instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department sex offender program, and that the defendant possessed an unauthorized, unmonitored Xperia smartphone without the required internet monitoring service provider remote COM in violation of condition number 15JA.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
State.
Violate condition number 15JA on or about the second day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ryan Nicholas, did then and there fail to comply with the instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department sex offender program, and that the defendant possessed an unauthorized, unmonitored Dell notebook tablet without the required internet monitoring service provider remote COM in violation of condition number 15.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
State.
Yes, Your Honor.
The other allegations, do you waive those allegations?
Yes, the state waives and bans the remaining allegations, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
Mr. Nicholas, did you understand by pleading true to violations 15A, 15I, 15I, 15L, 16, 18, 15JA, and 15JA? The court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
As you just heard, she said he's facing up to 20 years. Now watch this
That,
shit.
do you still wish to plead true to violations 15A, 15I, 15I, 15L, 16, 18, 15JA, and 15JA?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will find 15A, 15I, 15I, 15L, 15, 18,
Bill Gates said he is sour milk carton Bill motherfucker.
15JA, and 15JA
That's good, V. Bennett.
true. Is there an agreement?
No, Your Honor, the defendant is pleading open to the court, so the state does have punishment witnesses.
All right, state, call your first witness.
The state calls Sergeant Stephen O'Neill.
From Judge, one second.
Yes.
There was a misunderstanding on my part. I don't want to put it on the ADA. My belief when we talked last week is that we were going to do everything all together. We're going to do the motion to enter adjudication of guilt. And then there's some other cases out there. I have an expert who's not available today.
I mean, this is proceeding today. You all were set for a contested hearing today. So counsel, if you want to get your expert witness here, you can call your expert witness, tell them to come down. But this is set for a contested hearing today. So it's
She ain't playing.
proceeding today. It will be finished today.
Okay, well, there's never been a pre-sentence investigation report done on this case. And so I think we're entitled to a pre-sentence
No,
investigation
we're here
report.
today we're here for the court to make a ruling on whether or not he violated conditions of his probation. He's just pled true to them. Judge Angelini set this for a contested
She
today.
said, no, we're dealing with this today. But she is going to grant him a continuance, but the defense attorney comes back that same day, you know, within probably about an hour or something like that. And he's like, nah, let's just move forward. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing that I had a problem with, because she said, we're going to deal with this today. It did get dealt with today. But if she was going to grant him, a motion for a continuance. That's what it was. She probably was going to deny it too. Like I said, we're going to deal with it today.
Okay. So both parties came in and said that you were entering a plea of truth. So this case is going to be resolved today. Now, counsel, if you want to have your witness by Zoom, you're more than welcome to have them by Zoom, but this case is getting resolved today. It's set for contested hearing today. You all decided you didn't want to have a contested hearing, that he wanted to enter his pleas of true today. The court has accepted his pleas of true. The court has found the certain conditions true based upon his plea of true. So we are proceeding.
You want to call your witness to see if they can do it via Zoom?
Dude rolled his eyes like,
Sure.
as the state said, you want to try to see if we can do this on Zoom or whatever with the witness, because he ain't ready to move forward. And it was something about some money or something.
So needs to get money. I have to pay her $1,000.
Probably the witness, he has to pay her $1,000 to testify.
This is what I can tell you all is this is happening today.
Okay. So do I need to fill out a motion for continuance?
Oh, I can't wait for polite. And that's why we're going to start looking at just every single day. Oh, I do want to say this. So I did go really quick on the little, website or whatever. I know in my video, they said June 22nd, right? For his pretrial, and his trial starts July 3rd. Now I go on there and it says that his next court date is June 21st. So we'll be talking about it a day early. But yes, we will be looking at parole hearings of predators and all that. Like, it's just everything is going to be about predators right now, because and then Brother Polite's still running around here. He titling videos, we're running out of time. No, you're running out of time, sir. You're sick. Anyway, let's jump back into this.
Oh, you can fill out a motion for continuance.
And I'll pull that up at the end, towards the end or whatever, after we're done with this little sick
We'll hear
dude.
your motion.
Okay. So I have a second to write one in. All right. Thanks.
Motions for continuance? Yes.
His elbows.
All right, who's here on Pete Garcia? Court is calling to.
I'm not sure, but I know for a fact that Florida does not take sex offenses serious, so he going to prison. That's my take on, from far as what I've seen in Florida and shit like that. He going to prison. Period.
2018
They don't
CR
play.
3520
And they don't need the witness to testify either, necessarily.
W State of Texas versus Jonathan Nicholas.
Like the victim, you know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily need her to testify.
All right, could I have parties announced for the record?
Denise Harrison for the state of Texas, Your Honor.
Defense?
Sharp for Jonathan Nicholas.
All right, defendant enter pleas of true. The court found the pleas of True. True? All right. And defense, I think you filed a motion for continuance?
Yes, Judge, I did file a motion for continuance. I would like to withdraw that at this time.
All right. Then, any objections to the withdrawal of the motion for continuance?
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then the motion for continuance is withdrawn. State, do you have witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, 3 witnesses.
The lowest, but this is not for the charge, but in Brother Polite's situation, it could be like 60 days in jail, but these are not the charges that he's been charged with. I think like the lowest it went was like 5 years or something, but like a first time offense of prostitution, but that's not the same thing. But indecent exposure of or prostitution is the lowest. So that looks at like 60 to 90 days, but lewd and lascivious, I can look that up. I think it's 5 years.
We didn't vote for it.
All right, the rule has been
Danielle.
invoked. So if you're going to testify, you'll need to wait outside. State, call your first witness.
Thank you. State calls Sergeant Stephen O'Neill.
Oh, I forgot. Do you want the little iPad? Yeah, here you go.
All right, it looks like for the Brother Polite, just one of the charges, like if he was just to get charged with one, he's looking at a minimum sentence of 2.5 years in prison or possibly probation, but he will have to register as a sex offender. So he's still fucked. But I don't think he's gonna get that. I think he's gonna get at least 10 years. Hey Danielle, how you doing, babe? So really quick right now, while they're just kind of doing what they're doing, we're looking at the case of Honey Badger Jonathan Ryan Nicholas, or Nickel. It's on the whatchamacallit child. This is Angela Boyd, and basically he was found with, he uploaded to Google 5 images of child porn, but in 2018 he was arrested in like kind of like a To Catch a Predator sting, and he at that time had a suspended sentence. I don't know why, but in a minute, you know, some of the witnesses are going to come up and things like that. He's right here, and that's his attorney, and then obviously that's the judge.
And to the clerk, do you know where that file is? Okay, all right, thank you.
Judge, one little housekeeping. I do have a computer here with a disk for your privy and your view with regard to certain evidence. Where would you like for me to put it?
Oh, is it something that is sensitive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, just whenever you're ready, submit it. And if they have no objection, you can just bring it forward and the court will look at it. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Steve O'Neill,
All right. State.
Neal.
You may proceed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant O'Neill, who do you currently work for?
I'm assigned to the Child Exploitation Unit of the Office of the Attorney General for the state of Texas.
And what are your duties with the Attorney General's office?
I investigate crimes involving child exploitation and the exploitation of minors.
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement for approximately 24 years.
And how long have you been doing child cases?
I've been assigned with the Attorney General's office the past 3 years.
3 years. And in regarding the child cases, with your training experience, are you able to tell when it comes to child pornography, if a child's prepubescent or post-pubescent?
Yes.
With your training experience?
Yes, ma'am.
You heard earlier, the defendant, Jonathan Nichols, plead true to having a cell phone and plead true to using the name Honey Badger. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let's start with the name, Honey Badger. Did you receive tips, cyber tips regarding the name Honey Badger?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please explain to the court how do you receive cyber tips?
A service provider in this particular incident, Google, had reported 5 cyber tip reports to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Those reports were found to be under the purview of the Office of the Attorney General of Texas, and they were sent to us, which were then funneled down to myself to investigate those cases.
And how do you start the investigation?
Upon reviewing the report, I will then ascertain if there's any type of identifying information inside said report, which in this case, there was internet protocol or IP addresses that I was able to send subpoena on for subscriber information.
And with the cyber tip, on the cyber tip, does it give you names, like screen name or in this case, a Google name?
Yes, there was a username, I believe, and then email addresses.
Okay. And what was the username?
Honey Badger.
Okay. And after you sent out the subscriber information, what did you do next in your investigation?
After I received results from AT&T in reference to subscriber information, it returned to an address in San Antonio. The address was 13506 Owl Tree. I researched whom would live at that address.
And who lived at that address?
My crime analyst, Landra Polanski, had returned information to me that identified Baltazar Luby, a Martha Nicholas, and a Jonathan Nicholas residing at that address.
And with your investigation, did you investigate these 3 individuals?
Yes, ma'am.
And through your investigation, what did you find?
Through information I obtained through a search warrant submitted to Google, upon viewing photographs and videos in the Google account, I was also able to identify Jonathan Nicholas as the owner of that account based on his driver's license photograph provided to me by my crime analyst and based on the images and pictures I found in the Google account belonging to Honey Badger.
And just a brief description, what kind of images did you find in this Google account?
There were some self-made videos of Mr. Nicholas. There were images of his driver's license in there. I believe there was images of his medications.
Any other information?
There were additional images of child pornography located in that account as well.
Do you remember how many images?
I don't recall the exact amount of images that was in the Google account. I know we described one in my narrative for reporting purposes.
And after you received the information for the Google account, what did you do next in your investigation?
We conducted surveillance at the residence and identified vehicles parked there that belonged to Martha Nicholas and Luby Baltazar.
And after you did surveillance of the residence, did you obtain a search warrant and an arrest warrant?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, we realized that learned that Mr. Nicholas is a registered sex offender. Your Honor, this witness can testify to his own personal knowledge and not say we.
All right.
What he personally
What's your legal objection, counsel?
Your Honor, he can testify to his personal knowledge because he was there.
My question is, what is your legal objection?
Legal objection.
I'm sorry, is your microphone turned?
There's the microphone.
Like that.
Is it green?
It's green.
Sorry.
Will
My
you pull it
legal
over?
objection.
Well, will you pull it over to you?
This-
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's
My legal objection is that a witness.
Is it hearsay? Is that your objection?
Say,
Sustained.
I confront the witness.
All right. Ask your next question.
With your personal knowledge, did you obtain this?
I know, but I'm just kind of happy that, you know, they're actually somebody at Google has their thinking caps on just in case this ever happens, like somebody uploads, you know, it to their Google Drive or whatever. Like, I'm just saying. But yeah, comparing the pictures, and dude already had his ID in there. Like he had a picture of his ID in there. Like what the?
A search warrant and an arrest warrant.
After I conducted my surveillance and the information I obtained during my investigation, I contacted Oscar Salinas, who's an assistant district attorney with Bexar County, and reviewed the information with him in reference to Mr. Nicholas being a registered sex offender and the information contained in the CyberTip reports of the child pornography that he had uploaded to his Google account. And it was agreed that arrest warrants would be obtained for Mr. Nicholas and also a search warrant for his residence.
And do you remember what day you you went and searched the house?
I believe, if memory serves, it was December 6th.
Okay. And can you please tell the court what happened on that day?
Once the team arrived at the residence, I observed an individual I recognized to be Martha Nicholas at the back door of the residence. I identified myself to her, informed her that we had a search warrant to search the residence. I asked her if Jonathan was at home. She told me that he was at home and he was inside. Prior to the team making entry into the residence, there was a dog that seemed somewhat vicious. We allowed Mrs. Nichols to obtain control of that dog and asked Jonathan to step outside, which he complied.
How long did it take for Jonathan to come outside when he after you had contact with the mother?
There was approximately about a 3 to 4 minute window of her going back in the house and then him coming outside.
And after he came outside, did you have contact with him?
I did.
Did you read him his rights?
I informed him of our reason for being at the residence. I asked him if he would like to speak with me. He indicated that he would. I escorted him to my vehicle where I have set up to do a recorded interview. Once we got into the vehicle, I advised him of his Miranda rights, to which he stated that he understood and waived them to continue speaking with me.
And during that conversation, did you ask him if he had a phone?
I did. Initially on the porch, I asked him if he had a cell phone. He told me he didn't. And then I reiterated to him in the vehicle again to explain to me he didn't have a cell phone.
Okay. Nothing, there was nothing substantive from his interview with you, was there?
Nothing other than denial.
After the interview with the defendant, what did you do next?
After I interviewed Mr. Nicholas, I went back and asked Mrs. Nicholas if he had a phone. She instructed that she does not aware that he has a phone. I went inside and met with my team that was conducting the search. They informed me that through searching through his stuff,
Objection, hearsay,
Sustained.
denied question about the witnesses.
During the initial search, are you aware if there was a phone found?
I was aware that we found a phone.
And how did you go about finding the phone?
I recalled during a conversation that was found in Mr. Nicholas's Google account that he had texted a phone number to an individual. That number also matched a phone number that he had listed for himself on his Texas driver's license application. I entered the residence. I instructed everyone inside the residence to hold the noise down. I called the phone number and I heard a phone buzzing.
And when you heard the phone buzzing, were you able to locate it?
I was able to locate the phone.
And can you please explain to the judge where the phone was?
The phone was located in a small desk drawer just inside the master bedroom.
And after you found the phone, did you call it again to verify?
I did. I called the number again and noted that my phone number was showing up on the screen of that phone as the one calling in.
Did you retrieve that phone for evidence?
I did.
And what did you end up doing with that phone?
That phone was able to be unlocked on scene. At that time, we would usually, the investigators would conduct an on-site preview. Whatever.
Okay, and are you the one who conducted the on-site preview?
I was not.
Okay, and who conducted the on-site preview?
Sergeant Hillary Lyon. Lyon.
And then after they that you were aware they did an online preview of the phone, what did you do next with the phone?
The phone was then logged into evidence on an inventory sheet And then I secured all evidence and transported that evidence back to the Georgetown Police Department to be secured in temporary evidence lockers there.
Are you aware if there was a phone, a forensic download of the phone?
Yes,
And who conducted that?
Sergeant Barry Greer with the Attorney General's office.
And on scene, what did you do next after you found the phone on scene?
After the phone was located and turned over for processing, I explained to Mr. Nicholas that there were warrants issued for his arrest and he would be taken into custody, and I transported him to the Bexar County Jail.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1.
You already marked it?
Yes, I have. Please, explain to me what's on, what you're looking at.
This is a disc that contains the cyber tips that were involved in this case.
Okay. And did you have a chance to look at it?
I have.
And are those true and accurate to the cyber tips that you received?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
And did you put your badge number and date it to verify that you looked at this disc?
Yes, ma'am.
May I take this witness on a brief vote diary, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sergeant, good afternoon. All right, so did you personally create State's Exhibit number 1?
No, I did not, sir.
Okay. Who did, if you know?
I do not know.
Okay. Have you ever seen what's on it, on that particular exhibit?
Yes, sir. I viewed it
Okay. When?
this morning.
Okay. And so you're relying on another person that works in your office that made that disc, and you're basically vouching for it, that contains cyber tips. Is that correct?
No, sir. I'm not aware of who made that disc.
Okay.
I know that disc contains the cyber tips included in the case
Okay. How do you know that?
because I viewed them this morning.
Okay. And what is a cyber tip?
A cyber tip is a report made by an internet service provider, as in this case it was Google, to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children when questionable files of child exploitation or child sexual abuse material is found in their servers. They report that to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, at which time, once that report comes in, NCMEC is the acronym, they create a report. And then based on the IP address, they find out the location in the nation where this is occurring, and they send that to the agency in charge of investigating that.
All right, thank you. No further questions on board diary.
All right, State.
Just one couple questions, Your Honor. This that I made and provided you this morning is a true and accurate copy of what you provided me regarding the evidence on this case, correct?
Yes, that is the cyber tips.
No further questions, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to admit State's Exhibit 1 evidence.
Any objection?
It's prejudicial, Judge, under Rule 403 of the Texas Rules Act.
All right, that objection will be overruled. The court has joined a balancing test, and the court is going to find that it's more probative than prejudicial. State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted.
Your Honor, may I please approach the court with the computer?
Yes.
I'm not sure if defense wants to be up there too.
All right, if you'll approach.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
So just to let you guys know, they're about to talk about the images that were found on the device, the evidence.
And defense, have you had a chance to view State's Exhibit number 1?
Well, I had an expert do that, Judge.
Okay. All right, if you'll bring the computer forward.
And the state would like to also state that defense did come to my office and did review all the evidence that we had that I was unable to physically hand it to them.
And to the court for state's exhibit from what is going to end up being under seal. Just me. Due to the confidential nature. And I'm assuming it's child pornography. And so that is the reason why it'll be under seal.
Oh, and yes, I did do that.
Yes. I'm only going to show the court a couple of them for me. I'm sorry. It's I'll just let the court know I'm going into CyberTip 88103-666 on the disc.
Number 8, not A Delta.
Yeah, 8.
Thank you.
And the first one I will be showing the court is the last part of it because it is long. It is 2018-12-11 14.01.56 MP4.
Yes, and the court is viewing state's exhibit number 1. All right, thank you very much.
Number 2 is the last of it, Lety, Lety .wmv.mp4.
It's the boring part, y'all. But we don't want to look at what they showing anyway, child. That shit.
P4. Lety and MP4. Can you just say can you give a court a brief description of the ending of it?
Yes, ma'am. During the video, it is apparent that the adult male is penetrating the genitals of the female child, and at the end of the video, it's a little over 3 minutes long. You can hear her crying and sobbing about the encounter.
Next one is E. Last part of it's 85E19 MP4. And the last one I'm going to show the court is going to be 24607-361 MP4. Okay. Can you tell the court how
I'm sorry,
many?
give me 1 second.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
switching mics so I can do
Sorry.
that.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please tell the court how many videos was on this first cyber tip?
I believe it was about 15 videos,
Any pictures?
two images.
Okay. And the ones I showed the court, you used those ones specifically for your warrant, is that correct?
That's correct.
Regarding your investigation, is there anything else you did in regards to your investigation?
Once everything was submitted, and it was just on the 5 warrants of arrest that we obtained for Mr. Nicholas. And then upon completion of forensics, I reviewed the forensics report from Sergeant Greer.
And upon your review of Sergeant Greer's report, he's here to testify, but you did provide evidence to myself of more child pornography.
Yes, I did.
And in your training experience, the videos that I did show the court, and that's on this
Hey, Sister Nandy.
cyber tips, with your training experience, does it meet the statute of child pornography?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions from this witness, Your Honor. Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, do you know what a deep fake is?
Say that one more time.
A deep fake
No, sir.
video is?
No, sir.
Now, the defense attorney is trying to insinuate that those images, videos, whatever, are CGI. So he's going to bring up deep fake or chat GPT, and both of those things, this man, this witness that works, this is his area. I forgot exactly what his title was, but he has not heard of these things. But even if it was CGI, he had it under the pretext, the imagery that it was a child. So fuck that shit.
Okay. What is your
Thank you,
experience
Sister Nandy.
in training in determining whether something is actually a true picture of a child versus something a video that someone creates that looks like a child, behaves like a child, but really is not a child, a deep fake?
Those are usually patently obvious when you view them.
Okay, so you are aware of what a deep fake is?
I had never heard it called that.
Okay.
And I'm sure that possibly the terminology, what he's used to it being called, is called something else.
What would be a better word that maybe I can learn?
I've heard we've had cases where it's CGI.
Okay.
And those are obviously created by individuals who have experience in making those types of videos.
Okay.
And then you have your legitimate video files.
Okay. Isn't it true there's a database, law enforcement database, where you can take suspected child pornography and try to look through the database and actually identify the person that is depicted in the picture or the video?
There are databases. There's CVIP, which is Crime Victims Identification. Once we completed the investigation, and forensics is completed on that investigation, we send our forensics examiners complete a disc called a CVIP disc. We send that off to the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children. Those can be identified if, in fact, the child in the video has been identified. That's not always the case, meaning the child hasn't been identified before, but it doesn't negate the fact that at the time the video was created, that it was a child.
So really quick, just to give you a rundown, Sister Nandy, we're looking at the parole revocation of a San Antonio, Texas man named Jonathan Ryan Nichols. He was arrested in 2018 in a predator sting. kind of like To Catch a Predator. He was arrested for soliciting a minor. They basically suspended his sentence, but this time, so he was already a registered sex offender, but this time he had accidentally or on purpose uploaded some images to Google Drive and was caught by the people that work at Google, and all this and that. His mom is about to testify after this man, and she's gonna bring up hella like medical issues or whatever, into which I gives no fuck. But his online name was Honey Badger. So yeah, this dude is fucking sick as hell. Like, and his mom is an enabler. So that's really when I'm gonna turn up. Like, we doing all this for the mom, but I feel that it's proper when you're doing a court case to just not, cut out the parts that you want to talk about. You should look at the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we kind of waiting on, child. Damn, something's going on with the thing. Well, I hope it doesn't run slow.
Okay, so for the
Okay, it's back.
cyber tips that we're talking about, were you or anyone in your unit or in the Attorney General's office or
No, I'm saying like, I don't know what phones do or whatever. You can send things to just straight Google Drive or whatever, or backup or whatever. But like, if the phone gets, did he mean to send it there? I'm glad that he did, because like this man had stated that, that's how they popped him off. And then also he had his ID, a picture of his ID and hella other like identifying things in there, which is a good thing. And I really salute Google for doing that, because, they got to be, these images got to be, distributed through the internet somehow. So I really think that's a good thing. And also he had just spoke on how like they may identify a child in a video, they being the child exploitation association or whatever, you know what I mean? Child, it's getting late. But and I think that's a good thing as well. Also, a lot of the times I know that they can identify like hotel rooms that possibly the predator may have brought in the victim in and took the photographs or whatever. A lot of that with the child trafficking happens. Like, they'll go to post ads up, and they'll have some identifying markers in the picture, you know what I mean, that kind of give away what hotel they're at and this, that, and the fifth. So that helps aid and assist, but not that in this case. But I'm so glad that Google identified the images as child porn. And also, bro, like, you can't beat that at all.
for someone who
He was
worked
really bold.
with
Yes.
you at the Attorney General's office? Did that type of analysis, did y'all do that type of analysis? Did you go to the database and try to figure out, who is this person? Is it a real person? And oh yeah, it is, because we have them in this database.
That report was sent upon completion of forensics. Yes, we sent a report to the National Center for Missing Exploited Children. And if memory serves, I want to say they've identified like 2 or 3 groups where the actual child victim has been identified in the video. But again, that's not a be all that ends all that determines if that is a video of child pornography or not.
Okay. All right. Well, what about this technology
Hey, Emmanuel.
that's really rearing its head? Artificial intelligence, Chat GPT.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
No,
Artificial intelligence?
I've heard of artificial intelligence, but you used an acronym after that I'm not familiar with.
Okay. Chat GPT is an artificial intelligence program where you can tell a program what to do and it will actually do it. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with it. I'm sure it exists.
And what is your educational background of your knowledge in the area that you're talking about?
Of identifying children.
Yes.
Well, I am a father. I've raised children. I've raised a little girl. I have 24 years of law enforcement experience. I was a computer forensics examiner back in the early 2000s, investigating child pornography cases at a former agency I used to work for. And I have worked these types of cases for the last almost 3 years now.
Okay. And so how do you test to see if the images you're looking at are either deep fakes or created by artificial intelligence? How do you do that?
I can view them and tell that they don't appear to be fake at all.
Okay.
Are you duly Chat GPT?
There a scientific way to determine if this is a picture of a real human being or not?
I'm not aware of one, but again, I have experience in viewing the videos and can tell that it's a real video with a real child victim.
Okay.
So let me find out that that's going to be these predators' new excuses when it comes to, this type of a case where you have a predator that has child porn, CP. Oh, it was CGI. Okay, Lee.
I
Thank
guess
you.
what I'm really asking is, do you have a background in computer science and things that are going on in the computer world?
Nothing current, no, sir.
Okay.
Other than just knowledge and experience of the different applications and things like that, but a technical background into the computer side of things, no, I don't claim to be anything up to date as far as the technical aspects of programs and software that do different things like that.
Okay. No further questions.
You've seen CGI, correct?
Yes,
And you've seen real child pornography, correct?
yes,
How many images of it you think you have seen?
thousands.
And with your training experience, was this CGI?
No,
No further questions, Your Honor.
No further questions.
All right, this witness excused is subject to recall.
The state has no further questions from it. We would like to ask for him to be excused.
No objection.
Can I ask the spelling questions just real quick?
Yes.
The street name?
it's Al, O-W-L, tree, T-R-O-W-L, like, yes, ma'am. Free, T-R-E-E. Baltazar Luby, B-A-L-T-A-Z-A-R-L-U-B-Y. Yes, ma'am.
The rule has been invoked. That means that you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys with the state or the defense.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
State, call your next witness.
The state calls Sergeant Hillary Lyon.
All right, so
L-Y-O-N.
she's gonna come up, and then the defense is gonna call their expert witness, which is the predator's mother. So yeah, that's where I'm really for the turn up at all this other stuff, Joe. I agree with it and all that.
You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can have a seat. Make sure you keep your voice up. State your name for the record.
Hillary Lyon,
All right, state.
Thank you. Sergeant Hillary Lyon, who do you currently work for?
Texas Attorney General's Office,
Okay, and what unit do you work for?
the Child Exploitation Unit.
How long have you been working for the child exploitation unit?
A year and a half.
And before that, where did you work?
The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, and prior to that, Tyler Police Department.
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
Since 2007.
And you were in court earlier when the defendant pled true to his MTR, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you heard him plead true to having us unauthorized cell phones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you were you present on December 6th for the search warrant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, of 2022. Did you write a supplement?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why didn't you write a supplement?
Normally depending on our job on the search warrant, we usually aren't required to do so depending on our job there. On this particular case, Steve's case, or Sergeant O'Neill's case, I was assigned search initially. And then when we discovered the cell phone, it would not hook up to Celebrite, which is our machine that we use to essentially dump the phones,
So
preview the phones.
So your unit actually brings the Cellebrite unit out, computer out to the scene.
Yes, yes, our unit normally does that. Yes.
Okay, and you try when the phone was found, you try to hook it up to the Cellebrite,
I didn't, but yes, one of the members of our team did. Yes.
and you stated it was not able to be downloaded on scene.
Correct.
So when it was not able to be downloaded, what did you do?
We had to do a manual preview of the phone.
And can you please explain to the court what a manual preview is?
Basically, holding the phone, we record it on another device, usually our state phones, and manually open up the gallery photos on the cell phone in question and go through the videos and photos in the gallery.
And why do you do that?
Just to see what is on the device itself.
And did you do that this day?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you conducted the live preview of the phone, what did you preview yourself?
Several videos and images that were on the device in the gallery.
What kind of images on the device?
Nude images and videos of adult and child females.
Okay. So he had adult and child females on his phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you stated you recorded it, correct?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm about to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is this?
This is the copy of a live preview that I conducted on that date.
And did you have a chance to look at it?
I did.
Okay, and this is an accurate copy of the live preview that you conducted on that day?
It is.
Has it been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
And, let me get back over here. And you know, this is the disc that you looked at because did you initial it and put your badge number on it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And then you also, you viewed it this morning, correct?
I did.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to admit State's Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
Can we approach, well, I don't know that we need to approach, Judge. Our agreement was that the state would not pursue the allegations of new number ones. In fact, they dropped them in the motion to enter adjudication of guilt. And now they're spending all their time going on the allegations that they dropped.
I don't know what your agreement was with the state.
You're in agreement what we
I mean, and here's the thing, my understanding is that an agreement that's reached, unless it's going to be placed before the court, it's supposed to be confidential, whatever your negotiations are. But if there was a specific plea bargain agreement amongst you that said the state would not be presenting evidence with regards to the viewing of child pornography, then the court will hear that.
Well,
And Your Honor, that was not the case, Your Honor. And what we are presenting the courts is what was on his unmonitored smartphone that he had in his possession, and the fact that he in individual items that goes to the honey badger name that also had child pornography regarding the cyber tips.
Counsel, you did plead true to the moniker of honey badger and the motion to revoke.
That's true. That's true. And so I don't know why we're proving it up.
I mean, it's the state's.
The defense attorney seems nervous.
The state has filed a motion to revoke. The court is here to hear whatever anyone wants to hear. I will let both parties know that I know that Mr. Nichols has pled true to these allegations.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm aware of that. All right, let's take a short recess. Do we need us?
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. The rule has been invoked. That means you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only person you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of defense. All right, state, any other witnesses?
The state has no further witnesses at this time.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Judge, we've called Martha Nicholas. I'll go get her.
Thank you. Go ahead. Do you solemnly swear affirm
So y'all, this is the predator's mother.
the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Martha Nicholas.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, could you please introduce yourself to the judge and spell your full name?
Facts. If they wouldn't have suspended his sentence, like, you know what I mean, any jail time or whatever, then he would have been in prison.
Judge, my name is Martha Nicholas, MarthaNicholas.
And I deliberately put the judge here so that you could see her actions. Now, when old girl is talking, the mother, the judge don't give a fuck. She ain't trying to hear none of that shit. Period, point blank. But this mother is going to come up here and talk about how her son has sleep apnea. He has diabetes. He has a heart condition. He shouldn't have to go to prison, you know, and she has 2 cars and he has a driver's license, but he doesn't drive. Meaning, you know, obviously if he drives, he could drive to abuse a child, right? This bitch right here, I'm sorry. This woman right here pissed me the fuck off. So this is what I was here for, like, period.
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Sister Mandy.
how old is Jonathan?
37.
How old?
37.
Nah.
Pull that microphone a little bit closer to you. All right. All right. Do you have any other children besides Jonathan?
I do not. He's my only son.
Okay. Did he go to school?
Yes, he did.
How far did he go in school?
He has college. He has an associate's in surgical tech.
So he has an associate's in surgical tech.
Pull the microphone a little bit.
He does have college, yes.
All right. Okay. Does Jonathan have any serious health problems?
He does. Just recently, this past year, he got COVID, and he was sick for a couple of weeks, and then it developed into pneumonia, to where we had to take him to the hospital.
Hey, Sierra Brown.
Jonathan does have severe sleep apnea, and so we were concerned about that. And while he was in the hospital, it was determined that he had heart failure.
Okay.
Now, the woman is on this side of the judge. So you see the judge right here. She on this side. The judge ain't even looking at her. She ain't even worried about her child. I think she gonna get the fucking wet papers and all that shit.
He also does have hypertension, high blood pressure, and he is diabetic.
Okay.
Now, the thought that this woman thought that she was gonna come up here and gain some sympathy for her son doing these things. And it ain't like he didn't already get a chance. He already was a registered sex offender. And then he violated by uploading these videos or pictures or whatever. And then now she gonna come here and be like, he had COVID, he had diabetes, his heart. You know what I mean? Like, no.
What type of diabetes? Type 1 or type 2?
The thing is that he's not on insulin or anything like that. It was in when I took him to his primary care doctor that she noticed that his blood sugar was high. So I have a letter where she states what she treated him for.
Okay.
Girl, what?
Now, after your son was arrested and placed in the jail, there were
Facts, Emmanuel. They got a medical ward shit in prison. That's facts.
very high bond set. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
Yes, he still lives with his mom.
correct.
About $500,000
Well, before this court date, he did.
in bonds, something like that.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So she bonded him out.
And with his health conditions, tell the judge about your contact with the jail in trying to get him medication or other medical devices, and whether or not it was a struggle.
Okay. Yes, it was a struggle. I tried to get him his CPAP, which he needs.
What is a CPAP?
CPAP is a breathing device
Okay.
that he uses while he sleeps. It took maybe 5 to 6 days, I believe, to get that to him.
Now, hold up. I know several people that have sleep apnea. And also, if you have sleep apnea, you need a CPAP machine. You probably should not be going to jail for child pornography pictures and all that. Or anything, really. You should sit your ass down.
When I was in contact with the nurses at the jail, we talked about the medications that he was on. And
What medications was he on?
I agree, Emmanuel. I agree.
Also have a list of that, but he was taking Entresto for his heart, which was my concern.
Why?
Because they weren't able to get him that. And he specifically has to have that medication. They gave him another medication.
Who's they?
The nurses there, the physician assistant, the PA at the jail.
Okay.
Now, I don't mean to fat shame and all that. I'm a little plump myself, but bruh, he had caught his offense in 2018. So he had 5 years from 2018, 4 years from 2018 to 2022 when he was arrested to go and lose the motherfucking weight. Do something, motherfucker, like damn.
Entresto.
And if he needs all these medicines, he should stay away from child porn or whatever he's doing.
They gave him Farxiga or something has to do with kidney failure and another medication.
But he doesn't have kidney failure though. And just to be clear, I'm sure everybody in the room knows this, but rewatchers, if you didn't know this, there are people in prison that are literally dying. There's people in prison that have cancer, AIDS, other health conditions that are, killing them at this moment. So why would she think that her son could just run around here and do all this and that and not get, any type of penalty for that? And like I said, I fuck with this judge because she did not come to play. Remember, the max was 20 years.
To take its place. And I realized that when he did come out on bond 30 days later, he was not feeling well. I had to take him to the cardiologist. So the medication he had for those 30 days was not enough.
Not enough.
I wonder how much money she was sending him for commissary. You know what I mean? Like, why he wasn't up in there working out for that 30 days? He clearly ain't worked out at all. But she want to come up here and talk about his heart and all this and
What?
that.
To sustain him, I mean, it has to do with his weight and other issues.
Right.
So he was feeling tired. He was having trouble breathing. He would walk short distances and have trouble breathing.
Okay. All right. So did you see a decline in his health while he was in jail?
Yes, that is correct.
Girl, bye. You just missed your son. He running around here every day carrying like sack of potatoes around, just weight that he don't even really need. Now, again, I ain't saying everybody got to be skinny or whatever. I like my size, but it definitely ain't that dude right there. Okay, period. So if you know you have that problem, he just don't like to do those things. And again, like it was already stated, and I came here with the idea that this bitch is an enabler. She will enable everything. And that's why I think that she also put that cell phone up when they were raiding the house.
I did talk to one of the nurses there, and I
Facts.
told her specifically we had just gotten the prescription for that medication.
For that
And-
Intestrol?
Entresto, and it's
What is that for?
It's for heart failure.
Okay.
And it's a very expensive medication. I hadn't opened the prescription. I could have had the prescription sent over directly. And she said, no, ma'am. She goes, we don't do that. She said, this is the county. You'll get what you get.
All right. So what medication,
Girl.
if you remember, did they end up giving her? Did end up giving the
Farxiga,
jail to give to Jonathan?
Farxiga was one of them.
Okay.
I
And
don't,
that's
I,
probably the generic form of the one that she wants him to have.
I wrote them down. I do have them at home, and I wrote down the nurse that gave it to him,
Okay.
their name.
All right. Was he
But
all
again, he didn't have heart failure. He was just fat as hell and stressed his heart out every day, eating fucking brownies and Twinkies and cheesecakes and shit.
so before he went
Nothing.
to jail?
And looking at child porn. The fuck?
Did he have regular doctor visits with his cardiologist?
The heart failure we didn't discover until he went to the hospital for COVID and pneumonia. It ended up not being that. It ended up being fluid in his heart that was causing him to drown in that. That's what was causing the gurgling sound in his lungs.
Okay. Was he also being prescribed medication for his cholesterol?
Yes,
Okay. Does he have high cholesterol?
yes.
What about, let's go back to his heart for a second. Did he have a catheter for his heart?
They would not put the catheter in until he lost a little bit of weight. Because he
who's
could
they?
go, the doctor, the cardiologist.
So if he doesn't want to lose weight, then it's safe to say that he doesn't want to live. And then if he had even started losing weight at that time, he would have lost weight and not been allegedly suffering to death in prison, in jail.
Just
Okay.
because he can code.
Not the one at the jail, but
I mean, he was healthy enough to do what he did.
At the hospital.
okay. All right. So
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, she an enabler. It just seems like she would look the other way in those type of situations. Like the way that she's going to respond to, child porn and people viewing it each time, the right way is that every time that the child porn is viewed, that child is re-victimized. That's the way that it's supposed to go. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying, and she's gonna try to downplay that. She's gonna try to say, no, they're only abused at the first time. What? That right there told me that she was an enabler.
Does he need, according to the doctor advice, does he need a catheter for his heart?
Yes, he does.
Okay, and what's going to happen if he doesn't get that?
He'll have heart failure and die.
Was he also supposed to be taking water pills to help him get rid of
Yes.
the excess fluids in his
Yes.
body?
Yes.
All right.
Until he finishes the question.
And so when I hear the phrase heart failure, I'm thinking, like, if something doesn't get done, he's going to die, or someone's going to die, or get very, very ill, shorter than later. Is that, do you know if that's accurate?
It is accurate. His heart is operating anywhere between 35 and 45%.
And even when he got out of jail, did that percent?
Emmanuel, I swear she is. Look, she don't give a fuck. The judge like flipping through paperwork, fucking with other shit. She ain't really even paying this lady no attention. Yeah, and as a mother, I could never. I'm not showing up at your court date, your parole hearing. I don't really even want to fuck with you at that point because, like, no. And she really just had no like shame about herself.
Percentage go up or go down, or is it staying the same, the 35-45%?
I wasn't told by the doctor exactly. We didn't know how much time he had. So I took him just to get him checked.
She act like he dying. This man is walking and breathing. He just don't want to walk and breathe and live.
Out and get a letter from him saying that he was treated at the hospital and in his office.
Okay. So, did he get COVID in 2022 or 2021?
I believe it was 21.
Okay. And how serious did that virus affect him?
He may have been really sick about 2 months.
Girl.
But like I said, he does have a breathing apparatus at night. And so we thought it was that.
You thought it was what?
It was his sleep apnea.
Okay.
It was not.
And then, like, he lived with you, man. Why did you even let him get that big in the first place? Dude has got to be like 500, 460. You know what I mean? And all that's weighing on his heart. But do I really care? No, honestly, I don't. It's the sleep apnea, the diabetes, and all that could have been prevented if you were a good mother. But what did you do in those times? You enabled him. He was probably looking at child porn or whatever, raping a fucking kid, and you were bringing him Gatorade and pop, Mountain Dew type of shit, and motherfucking Lil Debbie cakes. Little whole plates of pancakes and fucking bacon and sausage and shit.
He had full-blown pneumonia.
Like, so he just one day just got big as hell and then just happened to molest kids.
And
hey, she's tripping.
And he had fluid from his heart that was making him drown at night when he had that breathing apparatus on.
Okay. Now, you understand that your son is charged with some very serious charges.
I do.
Correct?
Correct.
What would you like to tell the judge as far as
the judge like, I don't give a fuck, I don't want to hear this shit.
What she should do in this case? I mean, he's admitted to violating certain conditions of his community supervision, his probation, deferred adjudication. And now he has some new cases. What would you like to tell the judge to please do?
I would like to tell her that
Well, tell her.
no mother wants their son to die in prison. And if there's anything that I can do to help him, he needs help.
She's signing them papers for this nigga to go to prison. She barely even looking at her like that.
I want the opportunity to do that for him. I love my son. He's my only son. I need him to help me.
She look like she may drink like Chardonnay or something. You know what I mean?
You know, to support our home. It's just me and him.
But he does not work. So how is he going to support the home? He can't walk, run, you know, fix shit. He can't do nothing because he going to die. That's what she say. So why did she need him home again? No, you just know that your son is a predator and you're scared for him to go to prison. It's okay.
And
It's all right, ma'am.
I'm asking the court for mercy and to be lenient.
Thank you. No further questions. They may have some questions.
Sweet. Thank you. You heard your son earlier admit to having an
So now this is a state questioning her.
unauthorized cell phone, correct?
Did I hear him
Yeah,
earlier?
you pled true to having an unauthorized
Oh,
cell phone.
yes, correct.
How did that cell phone get in your room, in your drawer?
I believe he put it there.
And how long did he have that cell phone for?
Cell phone was not his. The cell phone.
The mom just threw him under the bus because I don't think he put it there at all. I think she put it there.
Is an extra phone we had in the house. The phone, probation, the phone number they have on record is my cell phone. Only where I worked, I was not allowed to take that cell phone in. So when probation would call, they would leave a couple of messages on my voicemail where they needed to talk to Jonathan.
So I'm talking about the cell phone that they retrieved
Mhm.
from your, during the search warrant, from your room. You're saying, he must have put it there, but it wasn't his.
Right, we didn't buy it for him. I didn't buy it for him.
But he had access to it, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it was in my house, yes.
Earlier, a minute ago, defense talked about his high bonds. Remember, he had high bonds? And do you remember me asking you some questions during the bond hearing?
Yes.
And do you remember me asking some questions in regards to him not having access to any kind of phones in the house?
No, ma'am.
So you don't recall? So you don't recall? You say
The judge just looking at her like, bitch, you know you out of pocket this there. She probably just thinking all type of shit in her head.
he wasn't going to be able to have any access to any additional phones?
That I made that comment, yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
But then after he was released on bond, when probation came to the house on March 2nd, 2023, he was, and he pled true to it today. He had some more devices that he wasn't supposed to have. Isn't that correct?
He has a flip phone that he has registered with probation.
But do you remember on the day when probation came, they took 2 more devices?
Those devices were looked at when they came the first time and they left them behind. When they came to search my house, they looked at those devices and they left them behind.
Girl, stop
But
lying.
probation on the day in March of this year, they took those devices, correct?
They did.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, and you heard him plead true that he was around them when he wasn't supposed to be around devices.
There were
again.
devices that were, one was a broken phone. The other one was a notebook that it's so old, I don't even think it turned on anymore.
But did it turn on though?
And you stated you wanted the court to have mercy and give him a second chance?
Yes,
No mother would want their child to die in prison?
yes.
But would you agree that no mother will want their child to be victimized over and over and over again?
Now listen to this, y'all. Listen to what this bitch says to the state. Listen to what she says.
By individuals?
I agree.
And would you agree that videos of child pornography, victims are being, these little girls, little boys are being victimized every time someone watches it?
I do not agree. I don't think they're being victimized. I do not. If it's a video,
So you think it's okay for him to
they were
watch?
victimized the first time it was done, and whoever did that, I do not agree that that's correct. That's a good thing. No,
So you think it's okay for your son to look at child pornography?
no, it's not.
We're done with the case. Yeah, cause the mom, bro, she is a fucking enabler. How can you say that in that instance, or whenever, every time that child abuse, a child being molested or whatever being recorded, so child pornography, every time viewing it is not re-victimizing the child? Like, what? And then motherfuckers send that shit all around to everywhere and shit like that. Like, this bitch is an enabler. She probably allowed her son to, relieve himself off of child porn videos and pictures because she looked at it like they're not being re-victimized. They've already been victimized, so they're not being re-victimized. Bitch, you're crazy as hell.
No further questions from this witness, Your Honor.
Just a brief redirect, Judge, if I may.
Yes.
Okay. Now, your son,
Emmanuel, judge looked like she's waiting for her to perjure herself so she could take her ass to jail too. Facts.
Jonathan, was on deferred adjudication for the online solicitation of a minor, right?
Correct.
Okay. Was he actually talking to a minor or to an undercover police officer?
An undercover police officer.
Okay.
But what if it was a different type of situation where he actually did link up with a minor? And who's to say that he didn't? He just got caught with these ones. But he went out there on, the mission to meet up with a child, to solicit a child. So I wouldn't care if it was the police or not. But like I said, it was a 2018 sting where they had, suspended his sentencing.
Does Jonathan have a driver's
Sick.
license?
He does.
Does? Can he drive?
He can.
Right.
So he has a driver's license and he can drive. How many cars she got?
Does he have a car?
He does not.
Right. So what vehicle does he drive? If
I have 2 vehicles under my name, and he doesn't drive either one.
So who drives the other vehicle? Because you could only drive one car at a time. So if he a predator in real life and he would solicit a child, then, you know what I'm saying, he would go meet up with a child. So what's to say that this woman hasn't had a juvenile delinquent at her home?
Like I said before, he has severe.
I know that they can't bring that type of shit up in court or whatever. They got to deal with that right there, but we can though.
Sleep apnea. So he dozes off, and then he has a heart condition. So I would not let him drive my vehicles.
Okay.
He doesn't have access to the keys to my vehicles.
Girl, let me tell you something. I know 2 people close to me that drove semi trucks. They both have sleep apnea. One uses a CPAP, one does not. They don't fall asleep like it's narcolepsy, but they will get sleepy or whatever. Obviously, when they get tired, shit, what the fuck? And it ain't my man or nothing like that. But she just acting like he can't drive a car. Like, I know people that drove semis. My man has sleep apnea, but he, does not fall asleep while driving. Like, why is she trying to ramp up his medical issues? You feel what I'm saying? Like, my man drives a regular car to work, but I also know truck drivers. One of my brothers has sleep apnea. Like she acting like he just a fall out in traffic or like have a seizure or something like that.
He's not on my
No,
insurance.
ma'am.
He's also taking now medication for his heart.
Oh, let me ask you this. Is there any internet
I agree, Emmanuel.
available in your home?
No,
Okay, why not?
it was ordered by the court.
Okay. And has that order been followed?
Yes, it has.
So none of them phones can have internet?
All right, so during the answering the questions from the prosecutrix, that when the search warrant was executed on your home, they left 2 phones behind, correct? The one was broken and the other one was just inoperable. Is that
Not 2
correct?
phones, 1 phone and
One-
1 notebook.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
a little
1
tablet.
phone.
Yes.
Sorry to talk over you. 1 phone
And a
and
notebook.
1 notebook, correct?
Correct.
And so do you know how old those devices are approximately?
They're more than 10 years.
Okay. Why do you keep them around? They don't want.
I didn't know how to dispose of them, so I just kept them. I mean,
Girl, you old as hell. You don't know how to do anything allegedly without your son. You don't know how to dispose of them. Here, there's like cell phone, buckets or whatever you could put your cell phone in, or you could sell it or whatever. She just don't know how to do nothing.
they were in a drawer. They were put away.
Sounds like an excuse because there was also an alleged like laptop or something like that left around too. And she said she didn't know if it worked or not. But what if it did and it was some shit on there?
Okay.
And he was
whose
on there.
drawer were they put
In my
away?
desk drawer in my bedroom.
Okay.
Right.
Is Jonathan able to work?
He's able to work. It would have to be something inside, something that was not labor intensive.
Okay. Now, as part of his him being on deferred adjudication probation, was he required to go to something called the STOP program?
Yes, STOP, stop.
Okay. And that is that a program where they do what they can to help people who are found guilty of sex-related crimes?
That is correct.
Okay. And I don't know if you remember all the meetings, but how many times a week would he have to go and participate in the treatment?
Once a week,
Okay. Would you take him there?
every time.
All right. Okay. After he was getting help, did you see any changes in him?
Good changes, yes. I was under the understanding everything was good. He always had positive conversation after his counseling.
And if the court were to continue him on deferred, continue him on probation, would you do anything and everything, including an extra mile, or do over and above what was required to make sure that your son complies with all the conditions that are set by the judge?
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this hearing. Oh yeah, and as a condition of bond, was he ordered to wear an electronic monitor device, a GPS device?
Yes.
Were there ever any violations of that device?
None whatsoever.
And where you live, Jonathan lives
the
with you,
fuck?
correct?
Yes.
So, does he go outside and play with kids or anything like that?
No.
Does he have visitors that come over to the house that are children?
No.
Bruh, just the way that she just literally did her head, like, no, and then like, yes. Hold on, I'm petty as hell. I just peeped that shit.
Anything like that?
But so when he asked his last question, watch her head.
No.
Does he have visitors that come over to the house that are children?
No.
This is weird.
How bad would it break your heart if today was the last day you got to hold your son?
It would break me, sir.
Nothing further.
Nothing to state, Your Honor.
All right, thanks for coming in to testify. All right, any other witnesses? Defense?
No, Judge.
State, any other witnesses?
Nothing to state, Your Honor, just clothing.
All right, the court has heard the plea of truth. The court is going to find the defendant guilty. Does anybody want to speak towards punishment? State, what are your questions?
Damn!
Your Honor, this particular time, he stays asking for 20 years due to the fact that he was, oh, sorry, it's a habit.
So much scared.
Yes, I did. I felt it. Due to the fact that the defendant was already on probation for a child case, he's already a registered sex offender. He was in sex offender program with probation, and obviously none of this is working, Your Honor. And now we're here for more serious offenses regarding child pornography that he was in possession of, Your Honor.
So state, you're asking for 20?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Thank you, Judge. I've come to know Jonathan and his mom, and these are the type of cases that really hit me. Because
why is the attorney acting like this?
I know the system is geared against him. I'm not saying you are, Judge.
Period.
But I know that anytime you talk about children, it just gets everybody's back bowed, and they just want to throw them away, throw people away, and lock them up and throw away the key. I don't know how long he's gonna, if he gets revoked, I don't know how long he's gonna stay alive in the prison system. And so what I would ask is that you continue him on deferred.
No, he's not going to be continued. I've already found him guilty. So the only question is how much time he's going to receive.
Okay. Well, we'd ask for no more than 5 years.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Nicholas?
No.
All right. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 20 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and there's Chapter 62 registration. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney, understand it, and did you sign it?
She gave him a smooth 20 max. Okay?
All right. You do have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Good luck to you, Mr. Nicholas. All right, the parties on AJ Delgado. I think they're going to.
All right. So that's that or whatever. I just wanted to show y'all that. Like I said, tomorrow we're gonna start looking at parole violations, ones involving sex crimes and things like that. Some of them involve murder and sex crimes, child. Like the ones that I got to pick from, I'm just gonna whatever, just grab one of them and um will be here tomorrow. So hopefully I'm aiming for like 9 o'clock PM. I won't be around like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but I'll probably be dropping videos. Just like I did last night. I premiered a video about recent sexual assaults that have been going on in the news and things like that. And I just kind of weighed in a little bit on our new direction without giving it away. But I think that looking at the parole hearings and stuff like that of some of these cases will give us an understanding of if these people are even interested in being out, if they really should be out. Obviously, we know that the parole board is the one that makes the decision, but oftentimes I think that the parole board messes up. They let the wrong people out, obviously, because we have reoffenders. But um, I agree with some of the things that they say as well. So my choice is Louisiana, and that's where we'll be starting. Louisiana parole or pardon and parole board. So that wraps up this video though about Jonathan Ryan Nichols. His online name was Honey Badger, and we just watched the revocation of this San Antonio man beast thing or whatever it was. The mother was complaining about his health issues. I don't give a fuck. The judge didn't give a fuck. And I really like that judge. She is a great judge, Judge Boyd. Um, and some of, her interactions or whatever we will look at as well. So we just gonna be doing what we do. But the fact that Google is doing their job, and if pictures are uploaded to Google, they have something there to identify that it's a child and it's an inappropriate picture. I love the idea of that. Shout out to the child exploitation um detectives and things like that in the case. I wasn't feeling the attorney at all. I feel like he tried to blame the imagery on CGI and a deep fake, and was bringing up Chat GPT. I don't know what it is with the Chat GPT, but I'm pretty sure, like, even I can tell CGI or not. You know what I mean? I do those type of things, not with those type of pictures or whatever. But yeah, I like to play around and shit like that. You know what I mean? But this man, ultimately, the fact that he had sleep apnea, heart conditions, and he failed to get a stint because he did not lose weight. We watched his mom downplay the actions of, in the case and things like that. And like I said, I believe the mom put the cell phone somewhere when she had seen that the police were raiding the house. They were activating a search warrant or whatever. And I believe, she probably met him in the hallway. I don't know why this is like, you know what I mean? And then she grabbed it from him and she just put it somewhere. I do think that he uses the vehicles. I do think he drives. I don't know what the vehicles are. Maybe they're tiny. Maybe he can't fit. But I do think that she's an enabler at the end of the day. And if she saw or heard something or knew that her son was violating his probation by dealing with children, I think she would look the other way. It's sad when we deal with mothers like that, but they are out there. So he did get 20 years in prison. Because remember that in 2018, he was involved in a predator sting into which he was arrested for soliciting a minor. And at that time, his sentence was suspended. And I'm pretty sure that tipped the scale on the judge, giving him the max amount of time, being 20 years. But again, I'm proud of her. I like when I see that government officials behind the scene, are taking these type of things serious. Now, when it comes to the parole board, I don't always agree with how they deal with victims or how they rule in a case where a victim, sometimes in these parole hearings that we'll listen to and look at, a lot of the times there's people that have been affected, speaking, and obviously they can't let the parole hearing go forever and ever and ever. But I think, they failed to listen to them, and ultimately sometimes, pick the wrong ones to let out. But I think we're gonna start with like the predators. I think there's a couple of like predators and they were killers or whatever. There was an Orkin situation with the Orkin man. He deliberately, I think that's the one that I'm gonna run with tomorrow. So he worked for the Orkin company. He would go and spray or do whatever he was supposed to do. And while he was in the residence, he would unlock windows so then he could come back and violate. Okay. I got another one where a man and another man robbed this woman they were working for. They not only raped the woman, which was a mother, but they went back to the house where they wanted to rob. And one of them raped her daughter. And then they brought the daughter back around the mother to the original rape site. So there are some serious cases coming in. I get it. A lot of people even question why I even do this type of thing. A, I'm a survivor, and B, I'm an advocate of making aware that at the end of the day, I think they're too lenient on these child abuser, you know what I'm saying, registered sex offenders. At the end of the day, I think they just get a slap on the wrist and they reoffend. I think that the prison system is failing because I caught them on numerous videos that we'll be watching. They're failing to even get sometimes these predators to a prison that has certain classes for predators and things like that. They have, I think at first it was 4 phases of the predator program in Louisiana, and I believe now it has moved to 5. But sometimes when they're doing their parole hearing and they're asked, the parole board is asking them how many programs have they used in, jail, like have they graduated or this, that, and the fifth, they will not have been offered the predator portion. And I think that defeats the whole purpose of, it being ruled in on a case. If it's there and you know that so and so is coming up for parole, then you know what I'm saying, get on the shit, transfer them to where they need to go. But I understand the prison system is packed, but in Louisiana, normally cases are mandated so that you have to serve 65% of your good time. And there will also become a time where we're dealing with 10-6 lifers. Now, a 10-6 lifer is during a certain time in Louisiana, they were charging everybody with like 10-6 to life, meaning 10 and a half years to life. And sometimes these would be petty ass crimes like petty theft and things like that. But now they're having to go look back at a lot of those cases and stuff like that. I'm not, I do think a couple of them are 10-6 lifers. But anyway, we gonna start this tomorrow with the parole board and things like that. I'm interested in, trying to find out more about like what's the rhythm, the rhyme and the rhythm, and not everywhere has where you can, view like, on Zoom or whatever. And it may be, if I'm leaving somewhere out, I'm sure that we'll branch out. It won't always be Louisiana, but we finna do what we have to do. Like this shit really just bothers me. And like even when the people on parole speak of their crime, right? They won't even admit sometimes to some of the things. Like there'll be one of the board members will call them out on it or whatever. If they pick up on it, most of the people that are on the parole board are senior citizens. I do have my faves, but we'll get into that tomorrow. But a lot of the times, when you go up for parole, you're supposed to talk about your crime, what you've done since you've been in prison, what your plans are, things like that. And they won't adequately tell the story to like reflect what happened actually in the case. They'll try to minimize it. And sometimes like the parole board still grants them parole after even just catching them in a lie, or, having to go in the records and look. And things like that. So I think that that's kind of crazy too. Because obviously, you know, the chance of letting somebody out that may reoffend. Now, maybe next time, you know, they don't offend the same way, but a lot of the times I think that prison fails for a number of reasons, but I do believe that we do need a prison. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. So at the end of the day, that's where my plans are. So I'll be going live from now on like 3 to 4 times a week, doing these type of videos and stuff like that. Oh, also, I was gonna burp, y'all. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been like, ugh. Okay, hold on. Let's look up Dade County Department of Corrections, because I just want it noted. Enter this fool up in here, cause and then I'll move the screen over so y'all can see it. Now I know that okay. Hold on, let me drop this one and let me present this one. What are we on, Dave? Okay. All right, so right here, let me make this bigger. So right here, right? So as you see, we're dealing with Michael Nowak now. This is what we're talking about for a brief second. Cause I just randomly go here and check. So I noticed that this says 6/21/2023. And I remember it being 6/22. It's not a big deal. It's a day earlier, but at 9 o'clock, he will be doing his sound set, which is a pre-trial for these cases. Obviously, we know that trial is set for July 3rd, and there is no continuations offered. But so trial hearing is set for July 3rd at 9 a.m. The motion to continue, which we knew about, but the felony sounding, which is the pre-trial, is set for June 21st, 2023. And in my video, I know it said the 22nd. But there hasn't really been anything added here. You know, the last time that we had talked about it on my channel, it was April 20th. You see what I'm saying? So there's not really much added. Let me see. Yeah, the felony sounding thing, which they put in, but maybe they just changed the date and took away the record that it had even been moved to the 22nd in the first place. That was just kind of weird. I'm not trying to be petty, but it just had me feeling some type of way. And I guess like last time, right, when I had posted these names or whatever, these are because somebody had said, "Oh, you're showing the jury and all this and that." No, I was not. Where did the names go? Have they been removed? Okay, for the subpoenas of Myers and Lopez and you know what I'm saying, Ricardo over here and Silk Franklin and all this and that. These are just people that are going to testify. They're not the jury. They would never tell us who's the jury. All this came out on a public site or whatever. So I just wanted to note that we will be ready to go. I'm just kind of like, gonna hover around this topic. This is something that I normally talk about, so it's not like a clout chase or nothing like that. But obviously or whatever the fuck. But I did, while I was gone and things like that, doing my research, I did my camera's not even right. The camera's fucking up. Okay, hopefully it resets itself. But anyway, so while I was gone or whatever, I was gone out of town last week. So I just kind of did my thing with the prison board recordings and things like that. and also try to get a little bit of content out during my free time. So that is kind of what it is at this time. Let me see. I really yeah, kind of all I had right there. So at the end of the day, yeah, this is where we're headed from now on. This is what we are on. Not the song that I'm about to put up or whatever. I just like some violent music sometimes, y'all. It's not like, don't judge me or whatever. But at the end of the day, that is the case of Nicholas Ryan Nichols, and I gave you a little bit of information in the Brother Polite situation. I'll be ready, you know what I'm saying, to go, period. That's why I was kind of like, damn, now I gotta switch, you know what I'm saying, and make it known that I won't be at work that day because I'm going to, like, if I have to sit up in this bitch and record that shit for 8 hours, I'm gonna record it, like, and I might even just go live with it. So we got that happening in, you know what I mean, what, about a month, a little less than a month. And we're gonna get to these parole hearings and any other case that you guys want me to look at. Send me an email at queensthrone, the number 9 at gmail.com. I'll take a look at it. Even my best friend sent me a case today, so I got a little bit of work with that. I don't even think there's a news clip yet, but there's somebody that's missing, and I'm gonna post the flyer on that one. I got it during the live, so I didn't want to be distracted, but I'm gonna post the flyer on that one and then look behind the scene. But if anybody else wants to jump on and shed some light on this case, if you find something or whatever, do so. We do have to be vigilant, and shout out to Sister Nandy because she was one that came in a clutch when a family member of mine was missing. So I do appreciate her. And she happened to be in that same area, so she did a lot of the footwork with, calling. Sometimes it depends, on the area, how they kind of deal with you or whatever. And she knew how to talk to them, child, like, period. Like, no, fuck that. Because they was giving us the runaround. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm on. Salute to everybody that came in. I did get a couple of donations. I do appreciate that. Also, if I can't go live or whatever, just check the video section or whatever, because I'm gonna be some of these shorter versions of it. Like if we look at a parole hearing and it's 20 minutes, or I got one that's 9 minutes or something like that, if I put my commentary on it. So I'll just drop those in just the video area or whatever. But I do appreciate you guys. Please make sure you hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe. Shout out to the rewatchers, but the live streamers, you guys are the MVPs. I appreciated you guys keeping it cool in the comment section and weighing in, giving me your thoughts and things like that. I know this is a hard topic, but again, we got to stand up against this. I appreciate you guys so much. All right, before we get out of here today, I'm gonna put on Ruga Blood featuring FBG Duck. Much love, y'all.
Yeah. Gang, just party train, all that shit.
I've been losing my brothers. I don't think you know how that shit feels. I done been through so much pain, sometimes I feel like giving up. It get hard to stay sane when you grew up how I grew up. My family say I changed, but that's just part of growing up. It'll never be the same, you gotta watch for who you trust.
Yeah, while they was playing soccer bottom, we was really boxing. A lot of niggas had choices, but we ain't have an option. While they was playing cops and robbers, we was really robbing. Conversations with my brothers, and I told them that I got them.
I lost my brother Dusky, that's a different pain. I swear since you left me, broski, shit ain't been the same. Couple niggas stayed loyal, a lot of niggas changed. I done seen so much shit in these streets, this shit insane.
Every day I gotta ride around with that heat on me, cause I know these niggas wanna see me RP, but I can't go like that. I ain't from New Orleans, but I let it know the club. I'm like everything go, no more holding back.
Ain't no more holding back, I told you that. Caught him on a cul-de-sac, left the nigga on his back. This chopper that I got, boy, this bitch came with a shoulder strap, and I do it for scrap. You can run, but not from this man.
Ever since I lost my brother, that's where my head gone. All that shit we talked about, I'ma stand on. Got some niggas that's locked up, and I ain't coming home. Cross your brother for some pussy, boy, you dead wrong.
Sipping this drink, thinking about all my niggas that's dead and gone. How I'm feeling shit, you might just get a headstone. You crossed your brother for that pipe when he gave you some shoes. He even gave you a place to stay when you was so confused. I still got love for you, nigga, that's just what brothers do. These niggas, they burn that bridge like they ain't got nothing to do.
We would stick together like we super glue. We grew up together, went to the same school. We not built the same, I guess he had me fooled. I go on the run for my brother, let me lace up my shoes.
I lost my brother to the system, now literally the system. If ain't nobody believe in me, my brother did, I miss him. No, I ain't pay attention, when my mama told me listen, I had to learn the hard way, I was really in them trenches.
I was loading up 100 rounds, thinking about revenge. And when I catch them niggas, I'ma gun them down. Boy, this chopper turned a crib into a 100 house. Niggas used to talk shit, look how it turned around. Yeah, if one fall, they all fall. When them chopper shells coming down.
Yeah. I don't think y'all really understand. I've been losing blood.
See y'all tomorrow.